Okay, all right. Let's get into this. You know that feeling, right? That little bit of um, stress, maybe,
Yeah.
before an appointment you have to go to. Especially if, well, if you're worried about explaining things clearly, maybe you're somewhere new, language isn't your first,
Yeah.
it just feels higher stakes. So today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that,
Yeah.
but focused.
Yeah.
Specifically, navigating a dentist visit with confidence. And what's really interesting is where we're getting our insights from. It's actually a source designed for language
It
learners.
is, yeah. And what's kind of brilliant about this source, even though it says for beginners, is how it distills everything down. It's a fantastic model for anyone who needs practical knowledge fast.
Yeah.
It takes something potentially, well, intimidating, like talking to a dentist, and makes it simple, actionable steps, which is perfect for what we try to do here, help you feel genuinely well informed, but without like drowning you in information. It just gets straight to the point. The useful stuff.
Exactly. Gets right to it. So our guide for today, our source material, is this really engaging audio guide. It's called The Dentist Visit, English for Beginners.
Ah.
And the setup is pretty neat. You hear a patient, Alex, explaining his tooth pain, very relatable.
Yeah.
And then there's a guide, Sarah, who kind of walks you through it, breaking down the key language bits. Our mission here isn't just to list what's in it, but to really pull out those linguistic nuggets, those insights that give you that confidence boost for your next appointment, anywhere, really.
Yeah, and if we look at what this guide actually covers, the core ideas, there are several things we can really unpack. First off, it really nails those essential phrases for when you first interact with the dentist or the receptionist. Think about just saying, "Hello, I've got a toothache." Simple, right. But it's immediately informative, sets the stage. Or being able to say clearly, I have got pain here, or maybe my gums hurt, even I've got a headache. The insight there is how that kind of directness right from the start just cuts down confusion dramatically.
That initial clear statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a real game changer. I mean, we've all been there, trying to explain something fuzzy and the other person's just guessing. Okay, but then what happens when you're actually, in the chair? How do you deal with instructions? Or maybe feeling a bit vulnerable and needing reassurance. The guide covers things you'll likely hear, like, open your mouth, please. Seems basic, but it's crucial, right, for cooperation.
Absolutely. Establishes that interaction.
Or the dentist asking, does it hurt here? And then understanding the diagnosis like you need a filling. But also catching those comforting words like, don't worry, it's a small cavity, or we'll fix it quickly. It prepares you for both sides, the instruction and the comfort, which is smart.
And it brings up a good point. How do you get specific without needing a whole medical dictionary? This guide is clever about it. It focuses on really high-yield vocabulary, practical stuff. We're talking words for body parts, tooth, teeth, the plural definitely matters. Gum, mouth, head, obvious ones maybe, but essential. And of course, pain. Then the dental specifics like cavity, filling, related things like headache. The deeper thing here is realizing you only need a few precise words to cover most situations. You don't need all the jargon.
Right. It's not just the words themselves, but how you string them together, how you sound natural, get the meaning across fast. And the source highlights a really common, effective bit of grammar using have got.
Ah.
For symptoms, I've got a toothache. It's simple, direct, very common in spoken English, maybe makes it sound more current. Then just saying, I have a toothache, I've got, feels like this is happening now. Helps you get understood quickly when it counts.
Exactly. It signals immediacy. And what really makes this guide work, I think, is the way it teaches. Its learning approach. It's not just a list you memorize, it's structured. The original audio uses like clear, slower dialogue. There's repetition built in, simple questions and answers. And it even has this little mini role play challenge.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the big takeaway there is that it builds communication muscle memory, not just abstract knowledge. By actually practicing the conversation, you build real confidence for when you're in that actual health situation. The phrases feel more natural when you need them.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what does this mean for you listening right now? Well, the practical use is immediate. Huge, really. These aren't just random vocabulary words, they're tools. Tools for clarity, for confidence, especially when you might be feeling a bit stressed. That aha moment, I think, is realizing just a few simple, well-chosen phrases can totally change the dynamic. It lets you understand, be understood, and turn something potentially daunting into something, well, manageable. It's about feeling more in control. So yeah, the core takeaway from our deep dive today is pretty clear, I think. Taking a focused approach to language, even for one specific situation like the dentist, it really empowers you, lets you communicate effectively, confidently, It just underlines the value of simple, clear phrases in navigating life, especially when clear communication is really important.
It really does, and it makes you wonder, doesn't it? A final thought perhaps for you to chew on. If learning just a handful of key phrases can take something potentially stressful like a dentist visit and make it manageable, maybe even less anxious, well, what other everyday situations could be made easier, less stressful, more comfortable? Just by focusing a little bit on the right practical communication. Think about, I don't know, explaining a car problem or giving directions or even just clearing up a misunderstanding. It poses a bigger question, really, about the power of precise, targeted language in handling all sorts of challenges life throws at us. Sometimes the simplest words are the most powerful.